Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Penguin Academy game analysis. We have a good one, hopefully. We are still in the Blood Bowl 3 2025 World Championships. And this is the group stage week 3. We have Kfoged and his Amazons versus Justicium and his Undead. The two in this group who were favored to go through. However, going into this third week, not necessarily so. Going into this third week, Kfoged, who drew in the second week, therefore only has 4 points and is not safe. Justicium has won both games and has 6 points and is safe because Lychee has 0 points and can't pass him, and Lamar Soleil has 1 point and can't pass him. So Justicium is through, which you might think makes this more boring. However, he does get a chance to play spoiler. If Justicium plays Kfoged, then in the other game, Lamar Soleil can win against Lychee and will also be on 4 points, and it will come down to tiebreakers. We'll talk about the tiebreakers in that game if that happens. If Kfoged wins or even draws here, he's therefore on 5 points and Lamar Soleil can't catch him. So Kfoged just needs a draw to qualify. These two will go through if they draw or if Kfoged wins. If Kfoged loses, it will come down to the other match. And in case you were wondering, quite a lot of these matches, I don't know if they did it on purpose, quite a lot of these matches like this were played at the same time. This match and the other match both started at the exact same time. Was that a rule? Because it happened a lot. Or did they just sort of gentleman's agreement it? It's weird because it happened a lot, but it didn't happen universally. PC's here. He must have gone to have a cigarette. Or, seeing as I'm on YouTube and Americans watch this, he's popped out for a fag. Which was the no. It wasn't a rule? Okay, you were asked to play at the same time if possible. Fair enough. So it wasn't a rule, it was just a polite request. Oh, wait. So, this is the Undead setup. Again, it's a little weak. If for some reason, like, we see this a fair bit, we've set up aggressively on one side and had the other side be weak. It does limit your exposure somewhat to only one side of the pitch being weak on a blitz, so it halves it essentially. So it's not terrible. A minus. Oh, more than one didn't, PC. Considerably more than one, but quite a lot did play at the same time. For offense, yes. You want to 3 dice with the mummies, hope you roll a POW, and start chipping Amazons. That's not my personal moderation, PC. I have no moderation or auto mod on, but there are universal Twitch rules. I cannot overrule the universal Twitch rules. Oh dear. Oh, never mind. Justicium will be happy with that. Like, he'd covered most of the issue and didn't waste a reroll and got a Kaz. He'll be quite fine with that. Yes, some of the stronger swear words, like the C word. I don't know what I'm saying the C word for. I've said cunt on previous, like, VODs. But the C word does prompt you if you really want to say that. I'm sure it does ask you, right? If you want to do it. Hang on. Oh, no, it doesn't. Weird. Where are the other words then? Maybe it's country related, Pen? Okay, so the Amazons went in here. It doesn't matter, Nerd King. I'm not even monetized yet. This video can't be demonetized. I'm not monetized. It does ask in America. Okay, so it is country related then. Odd. So the Amazons have gone in here. This is pretty nice. But the undead do, like, these, look at this, jammed in to stop the guard, which is pretty cool. I was wondering whether or not Justicium would risk the rush blitz, since he didn't reroll the one in 27. He still has his third reroll. The rush blitz to push this off. But he didn't. Oh, that is quite strange. I don't really know what that's about. That's a very strange blitz from Justicium. I mean, just to be clear, I said it a lot when I was in the US. People do say it. It's just, especially amongst middle-aged white women, it is deemed far more offensive than in other countries. Well, Kfoged goes down a reroll to a dubs. We can't do anything about this, right? There's no chains. There's no one can reach. It's fine. Yeah, but I don't think it's deemed as particularly more offensive amongst all groups. Is just all I meant, Squirrel. I did not say it at a circus in front of kids. Also, it's not a circus. Oh my days. Double skulls. Burning 2 rerolls this early in the drive. K-Fool is not going to be a happy camper. I'm sure. I mean, to be fair, I don't check who's in chat when I speak, right? I've got a swear warning on the channel, haven't I? No, I don't believe I said the C word at medieval times. I did swear quite heavily at medieval times without knowing I was surrounded by children, because I did not understand what medieval times was. I feel that is not my fault. There's no way for me to know the regular clientele of medieval times is children's birthday parties when I'm not American. So, so for people like Haruka who don't know, I'll put this story on YouTube
Whoopsie.
just for you. I'll shorten it because it's annoyingly long. I found myself in Toronto. I didn't realize how out of town medieval times was. So I ended up having trouble getting there because public transport in America and Canada is garbage. So I ended up having to walk into some out of town industrial park or whatever to get to medieval times, and I was late for the show. So when they escorted me to my table, it was dark. The lights were down already, and the heavy lighting was on the arena with the knights and stuff. So I couldn't really see who was sat around me. And then a guy came on, and he felt like a hype man. He was just hyping people up, like, cheer for your knight, and I was like, okay. And then they came out with my food and they started fighting. So I'm like, okay, I'm in. I stood up, waved my giant turkey leg around, and started shouting stuff like, fucking kill him! And as it turns out, that is not what you do at medieval times. And now I know that. Because about half an hour later, the lights went up for a break, and I looked around and I'm like, there's a lot of kids here. And then I realized the break was for the guy, like the king or whatever, to read out all of the kids' happy birthday messages. And then I kind of clocked it. I was like, oh, I've just ruined about 45 8-year-olds' birthday parties. And there's a lot of parents angrily staring at me. To be clear, there was a lot of mothers angrily staring at me and a lot of fathers trying not to laugh. Oh, oh. Doesn't snake. You should have been around for more of my travel stories, Bucky. I seemingly am that kind of person. That's a bit weird, wasn't it? Why did we take the push over the knockdown there? Yes, this was the afternoon show. Just because it was dark doesn't mean it was at night. That made it worse because it was bright sunlight outside, so when I went inside, it took ages for my eyes to adjust to the darkness. Genuinely, like, just from vibes of looking at the website and knowing medieval times was a thing, and just looking at the vibes, and then, like, you know, they serve you beer. That was the thing that made me get it wrong, right? They told me when I booked it that, like, I got beer with my food. So I thought the vibe was like frat boys. I thought it was going to be loads of like 18 to 20-year-olds drinking beer and like shouting. And it was more 8 to 10-year-olds drinking milkshakes and getting shouted at. It's Canada. I was in Canada, so what, like, it wasn't 21. This was the Toronto medieval times. Ooh, that would have been a tasty nugget, wouldn't it? That 1 in 9. I thought medieval times was fun. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, story aside, it was still fun. That kind of made it worse. I kind of wondered why it wasn't like frat boys and stuff. I'm like, this seems like a great laugh. I'd do this. Yeah, like, that was part of the problem. Like I said, I got off a bus that was like as close as apparently the bus went to medieval times, and then I had to walk like fucking ages. I had to walk past some football stadium and like just through industrial estates, like dragging my world belongings with me. Like, this was when I was traveling across America and stuff, so I had like a giant bag with me and a rucksack. Like, that's why I was late. It wasn't like it wasn't even my fault this time. I was just I had no idea. Anyway, back to the game. This is not looking great for Kfoged, but like I said, Kfoged just needs the draw, so even if he gets scored on, it's not that bad. These ghouls living a charmed life. There is one thing that's slightly annoying about hit and run. If you select hit and run and you've done it wrong, and you've wanted to like go there but you can't, you can't cancel it. You have to hit and run. There's no like undo button for it, which is kind of annoying. Is that what that was? The exhibition stadium? Yeah, I went to some shonky places. They were, like I said before, there was only one place in the US that I refused to go, and it was through homeless city in New Orleans at like 2 in the morning. No, I was in New Orleans. It was an underpass outside the Greyhound station in New Orleans, and it looked like a fucking scene from Mad Max. I was like, I'm not walking past that. Cannot get these POWs. It is only turn 6, so... we don't need to be too much forward, but some for... There we go. There's the POW he needed. There's the POW he needed. That POW means no red dice possibilities. Gonna need to reroll this rush. Ooh, mama. Okay. Full power on the ghoul. It's fine. Barely inconvenienced. Power on the white, that's the blitz. We're going to go back with this and just get in the way more. Good turn for Kfoged so far. These POWs are coming. Not much else, though. Just the POWs. All right, so what do you do here if you're Justicium? Let's do some Penguin Academy and not, like, story time. What do you do? It's a good question. So, the guard doesn't work. So there's that. And this is guard on the mummy. So currently, that's not a 2 dice block. You can make it a 2 dice block by standing up the ghoul. Then that's a 2 dice block. And we can blitz through this for even a push and potato up the pitch. However, who have you got to go with you at that point? That's the question, isn't it? That might be a fully baked potato right there. And there's a wrestler lurking in the back because K-Fool's good at Blood Bowl. So, you can stand the ghoul up and block backwards because you've got an assist, so it cancels the 1. That frees up the tackle white, but it doesn't get rid of this player, so there's no direct route. You could try this and see if you get a full pow. That frees up the white with guard to maybe come there. And if it's there, then you can tackle this big girl, go that way, and bring the zombie up and come around the side into scoring range, and then dodge the ghoul as well. Not great, though. So maybe we cut back this way. Is that a possibility? We can block the jaguar off with... Ugh, no, can't even put the zombie in as an assist because then you're blocking straight down. Because you need to block diagonally. So you're in your own way if you do that. That's not great either. None of these are good, you know. I don't know what I would do here. Other than spend my entire, 2 minutes thinking about it. Let's just see what Justicium does. Is it the baked potato plan? It is the baked potato plan. Oh, and he burns a reroll on the worst, trying to see if he could get this guard out and doesn't. That is, I mean, if you're going with the baked potato plan, you don't take this block. However, that also would have been a 1 in 9 there and need to be rerolled, so it doesn't matter really. Wow, this is a full baked potato. Absolute bakery level potato. And why would we try and dodge the white and not the ghoul who has dodge? That seems cray-cray. Like, you even dodge this ghoul, and if you pop dodge, then it's the same 3+ anyway. You even dodge this ghoul before the white. That is some terrible turn ordering, and we have a fully baked potato. And a cast ghoul, the one that didn't dodge. And should have dodged. Not a pow. Gets the wrestle. And a bad scatter for the undead. Oh, wait. Ooh. And now the ball has been picked up. No, wait. I thought the ball had been picked up, but it was not picked up. Oh, my days. Hang on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Can't score. So needs this ghoul. 12, 11, 10. Oh, this ghoul can't score either. So we need to chain it forward. That seems real hard. Oh, wait, not that hard. We can block to there. Fill this square. block here, and then blitz with the mummy to chain the ghoul out to there. Then we dodge and double rush, and then this one dodges, picks up, rushes, and hands off. That's the play. Let's go, Justicium. But first, let's make an irrelevant block with a mummy. I think that's irrelevant. Feels like this should be in the first block, right? And then we dub skull so nothing matters anyway. Amazing. Okay, all of that is good for Kfoged. Remember, all he needs is the draw. Kfoged, nothing missing of import. Justicium missing his third ghoul. No, his fourth ghoul. He did have 4 ghoul undead. 4 ghoul undead just gives you 1 bench, whereas 3 ghoul undead gives you 2 bench. That's the difference. Like Kfoged, even you. What is this setup, man? We've got to come up with a name for this setup. Why are people constantly using this setup? I'm not getting it. It's not good. This is so lazy. Big ends and blitzes. Correct, Haruka. So do you mean on defense? I'm talking about on offense, Haruka. The defense is exactly what you're talking about. Chevrons. So on offense, the main 2 things you should be thinking about are, what if I get blitzed on, and how much do I need these LOS blocks? And then you balance those accordingly. Assuming it's a regular drive. For a short drive or a 2-turn or whatever, things are different. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I was wondering if I had tinnitus or something then. I can hear a slight high-pitched noise, but I can't hear it when I take my headphones off, so it's coming from in-game. Or in my headphones, one or the other. There. Yep. Okay, so full aggression. Full aggression. Remember that Justicium has qualified. There is no way for Justicium to not get to the... Yeah, I'm assuming it's coming through on my headphones, Ord. There's no way for Justicium to not get to the World Championship proper. So he is just playing spoiler here. Right? If he beats K-Fool, K-Fool has to worry about the other match. But if it's a draw or K-Fool wins, K-Fool doesn't have to worry both of these guys go through. So Justicium is just playing spoiler. He can do whatever he wants. Which again, if he wants to play spoiler, which he should, that sometimes this is going to happen, right? Justicium absolutely wants to play spoiler here because K-Fool is also one of the best players in the world and you don't want him in the real tournament. So you get basically a free roll to remove one of the best players in the world from the tournament you're about to enter for money. So he's absolutely going to try. This is not a case of him just not caring or not doing anything. If I was about to enter a tournament for like 2,500 euros and I got to stab you in the eye and that meant K-Fool wasn't in that tournament, I would get used to wearing a patch if I were you. Yes, he can overload on aggression. From the middle, 3 line orcs and 1 big un. 3 line orcs and 1 big un on the line? Yeah, we might... There's that. And also, Google for this, so you can make what you think is the correct setup. And yeah, talk with Squirrel in the Discord. That's his 3rd dub skulls eating rerolls. I actually can't look at Imager because I'm British, Squirrel. Squirrel was closer to correct. Remember, if you're wondering why Kfoged is playing so conservatively, remember, for him, a draw is fine. For him, a draw means he goes through. Justicium is the only one who loses from a draw, because that means there's one extra top-level player in the tournament he's already in. So Justicium is free-rolling for a win to try and kick Kfoged out. And even then, it's reliant on the other result, right? But at least then there's a chance that Kfoged isn't in the same tournament as him, which makes it easier for him to win money. Any tournament that Kfoged isn't in makes it easier for everyone else to win money. No, it's Imagers. So we had some kind of ridiculous censorship act like pass recently, and some sites like Imager and stuff have agreed with it, and therefore you have to make accounts and like prove your age and shit to use them. It was a censorship act that they named the Child Safety Act to make themselves look better. I can see that, yes, Squirrel. The big un on the LOS should be one to the right. And the goblin should be one to the left. Hang on, I'll put this on screen so that people who are watching the VOD actually know what we're talking about. So the big un needs to be one to the right, because otherwise this big un that he's drawn an arrow from is a weak spot. You can blitz through it. And then there's nothing stopping you, no dodges or whatever, if you get a POW. I can't do anything about that. Hang on. There we go. And the goblin needs to be one to the left, because the other big one is also a weak spot. And unless your opponent has like black orcs or lizards or something, I would also just put the chevrons on the outside on the LOS as well. So assuming your opponent has put 3 in the middle, for me, the best setup to defend against a blitz. Bear in mind, that's not always the thing that you desperately want to do. Is that. Nope. The strength 4 are out on the outside back chevrons to stop any one dice shenanigans. Like, because worst case scenario is what you want to defend against, right? Worst case scenario is a short kick blitz. So imagine the ball is this Troll Slayer, right? If it lands here and this is not the strength 4, your opponent is going to risk a 1 dice to block them out of the way and come and stand under the ball. So that the only way to get 1 dice on this with any strength 3 team is to put an assist here. And then if they do the 1 dice, now everyone has to dodge through here to come and also you're blocking forward, which pushes onto the ball in this case. So you're just defending against worst case scenario without really giving up the 2 dice blocks, right? You still get the 3 2 dice blocks with block, and you do get follow-up blocks once you've defended wherever the ball lands. This should be the other blitzer as well. There. Or you could even just swap these around and put the Black Orc there. Put the Black Orc there and the blitzer there so we can block back on this end one. Like, all you should care about is to make sure you... Actually, just to be clear, you sometimes should prioritize defending the blitz against even taking the LOS blocks. But Orcs against any strength 3 team can do both. Like, this is basically an A+ setup, right? There's virtually nothing an opponent can do that doesn't involve 3+ dodges for elves with no rerolls because it's a blitz. It defends the most indefensible squares, which are these here. Like, oops. Like, the most indefensible squares are these ones on the outside, right? If the ball lands there on a blitz, they're practically indefensible. And this defends them. Because you have to get rid of a strength 4 player to not have another tackle zone on the ball. So the only reason to not set up similarly to this is if you were the strength 3 team and they are a strength 4 team, and now you can sort of, if you want, balance it against the risk of a solid defense. Me, I don't. I would set up anti-blitz. But you don't have to. It's not terrible to set up back as the strength 3 team. Like, it's not terrible to set up back like this because the solid defense doesn't base up all of these players then and fuck you. But orcs shouldn't care about that, right? Even against lizards, orcs shouldn't care about that because if they're going to eat a block from a Saurus, it's probably not going to do much. But, like, you know, elves, humans should care about getting their Linos stuck on 2 lizards. So you can balance it off. But me, I'm fine with just constantly having like, and as big-headed as it might sound, it does have to be, I do have to take into account that in 99% of my games, I'm the better player. So I need to defend against the RNG, against the randomness, one of which is the kickoff result. So I prioritize that over everything. If I get short kick blitzed on, I don't want to lose to that ever. No. Multiple block can only block. You can't block on a blitz. You're blitzing. You might not have to. You might not have to move players back, right? If it's a deep kick and you go back for the ball, which is a Troll Slayer in this example, there's nothing wrong with taking your blocks and just chevroning like across the entire pitch, like forcing them to roll 1 in 9s to come through and worry you. Like that's okay too. I'm fine with like rats and woodies or whatever rolling a fuck ton of 3s that can kill them. It kind of depends on where the ball went. If the ball is completely out of, like, if the ball is in the end zone, you want to care more about it. You probably want to like chevron back here or something so that you can meet up a bit better next turn when your ball comes back up. But if the ball went backwards and you were there, like, you're fine to just stop them coming through, right? Halfling. Let me have a look up to see what you said. A halfling defensive formation. You mean like just putting? I mean, it depends on what your team is. Normally, halflings have got a star player. Oh, when you're receiving, I mean, it's the same thing. Like the halflings are not doing anything, are they? But those don't want to be based up normally. When you're defending. Okay, well, I'm doing the defending one because that's what I was doing anyway. So I like doing this, and then whoever you've got, like usually Zug or something or whatever, goes in the middle of the two trees. The reason I put 2 here is because it defends this square. This square is important to defend because it means that your opponent can't put an assist there unless it's a guard, and can't blitz through here unless it's a guard to get blocks on the trees. So flat shape next to the tree. It is, yeah. But like, it's more important to keep the trees up than it is to worry about the 1 in 9 quick snap that only matters if your opponent sets up on the LOS too. Like, it's not just 1 in 9, right? Not everyone sets up along the LOS with spare players. Oh, sure. It can happen, fucking, so have I. It's just a risk you take. So, like, I take that risk all the time with dark elves, rats, vampires, and sometimes it costs you an extra player or two. But in their case, the aggression that I get from being forward in the other games where I don't get quick snapped on by players on the LOS is worth it to me. Yeah, I won't do it if my opponent is like, Mighty Blow Dwarves or anything. because they just set up on the LOS anyway. So if your opponent is Mighty Blow Dwarves, you just defensive Chevron. Don't get quick snapped on. That's insane. Let them have the trees. It depends on the star, fucking. If your star is Carla Von Kill, that should be it. Then the middle should be, and your opponent is Mighty Blow Dwarves or has any Mighty Blow Tackle and Guard, Carla shouldn't be on the LOS. Zug can be there. Carla should not. Rumbelow shouldn't be there. Yeah, just stick a Hefty there, if assuming you've got one that doesn't have leader. And if you do have one that has leader, just stick a disposable fling there. If you've got Deep Root, he goes on the outside of the LOS, yes. It depends on where you play, though. I never take a second Hefty because I only play Halflings at the moment in BBT. In which case, I never take a second Hefty, I never take a Catcher, and I never take Skills. I take one skill on the Hefty, which is Leader, and nothing else ever. Because that leaves you at 730 TV. So if you get a starting team, you have 270, which is coincidentally the perfect amount for Rumbelow and a Chef. And if I'm playing a starting team, unless it's Dwarves, I fancy my chances with Rumbelow and a Chef against basically anyone. No worries, Haruka. That's what we're here for. Rumbelow is not in Blood Bowl 3. So I'll close this off. And before we carry on with the game, I'll quickly give my... So, in my opinion, just to be clear, this is not a fact. In my opinion, Halflings were screwed by Cyanide because their plan to me was always to have Goblins for a season and then Halflings for a season, and they heard the chatter from those of us who play and stream and talk in the Blood Bowl 3 Discord and things that, like, that's insane. That's terrible. 6 months of stunties would kill the game. So they brought, in my opinion, they brought Halflings forward to do a double release. And that's why Halflings were not finished. That's why there's no Deep Root. That's why there's no Rumbelow. That's why Cindy is a shitty model instead of the actual star player. And the reason they haven't been caught up with is because they brought Halflings forward 3 months. Everything else was brought forward 3 months. So all of the releases after that have come forward without stuff that they would need. And some of the models are shonky. Like Norse were released where the Ulfs are quite clearly about 20% too small. And because they were rushed. There's no Captain Karina for vampires. There's no... Wait, is there a Stell? There's no Boa Constrictor for Amazons. They're all missing star players. Because everything was brought forward. In my opinion, Cyanide have never confirmed that, but that is my opinion for why that happened. And that means that halflings are still screwed. No deep root, no rumbelow. So halflings keep getting like hugely tiered to try and help them out in arena. And oh my days, that is K-Fool's last reroll. That is K-Fool's last reroll gone. What I just said, fucking. Yes. This is a long way to turtle with no rerolls now against an opponent who has nothing to lose and is just trying to dick you over. This must be very annoying for K4. He's burnt his rerolls on dubs and 1-in-9s. He's on no rerolls. It's turn 13 and Justicium is giving no quarter. No, they're not a good team. They're slightly better in third season. Currently, right now, no, not a good team at all. Their skills are odd, but more importantly, they're too expensive. That's their biggest problem. That's why they're slightly better in third season. They were reduced in cost. But they're just super expensive. Gets the POW. That is what. So basically, he's measuring this in turns, right? That 1-in-9 and that 1-in-9 buys him a turn. You can't afford your team to start with. That's the biggest problem. A certain... Oh, dear. So what I was going to say is I'm not certain this is correctly placed. I would have put it there. Okay, so what can we... This is interesting. What can we do here? This doesn't count as guard, remember, because defensive. And this doesn't count as guard because defensive. So... Okay. So if you stand this ghoul up, that's 2 dice. And then this does count as guard. You could block here, bring the ghoul around, and then this is a chain. Does that do anything as a chain? It chains the guard off. So if it chains the guard off, you push both of the big girls back. You could possibly surf the blodger. Who are the best teams in Blood Bowl right now? Amazons are the best team in Blood Bowl right now. After that, there's a few. Oh, no, not in... He's not talking third season, surely. He's playing right now on Blood Bowl 3. Yeah, it's just Amazons. Amazons are the best team in Blood Bowl. Okay. Justicium finally rolls his own 1 in 9. Oh, okay. I thought we were going to be going for a chain there, but instead we're going for a chain here. Okay. Okay. So now we dodge out with the ghoul to here. No? We 1 dice in. We 1 dice full pow. And we 1 dice full pow to surf. I think we could have done better than that. I think that was a little cheeky. I mean, it wasn't terrible. I just feel like we could have done better than that, right? I feel like my chain was better. You block down and then you just chain that way with a 2 dice block. We move the ball. Ball has been moved. The wrestler rolls, pushes. We're getting slowly squashed into this corner. All right, good. I like there. Okay. 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 He's truly trying to survive. It's tense as fuck. I love it. So Justicium is literally just playing spoiler, jamming him into the corner until he gets the free roll on turn 16 to try and knock Kfool out of the World Championships. It doesn't knock him out, by the way. It relies on the other match. But the only way he can get rid of Kfool is by beating him and then watching the other match to see if Le Marseillais also wins. They're not good, Nerd King. I mean, if I look at my video on them on YouTube, I think they're better than humans because humans were nerfed. I think now humans are the worst humans. I think the Berts and Nobility are slightly better than humans, but they're not good. They're all just like bottom middle of the pack. Dark Elves, Haruka. You don't. So when you're learning and trying to get better, don't take the fragile teams because you'll lose too many times to just being beaten up. You like when you're learning and you're not as good as some of the other players, you'll give up too many blocks. Thank you for the follow. You'll give up too many blocks. Dark Elves will survive those blocks that you give up too often more than Pro Elves or Rats will. Dark Elves are your trainer agility team. They survive more. And then if you want to move on to the fragile, faster elves or furry elves, you can. But Dark Elves, definitely better to start with. If you want to play agility, play Dark Elves. Furry elves are rats, Haruka. Skaven. They're just furry elves. Yes, we're assuming that about a year in, well, about maybe 6 months in, probably May, we're assuming that in May, High Elves will come out and they will be the best elves. We are hearing weird rumors about High Elves getting claws and weird rumors about High Elves getting no ball players, which should be funny. But that'll be like so far down the line for tabletop, and then even further down the line. Oh, sorry, yes, my ball players, my bad. No ball is the new no hands, isn't it? My ball players, correct. PC's right. Yes, lion warriors with claws and dragon princes with my ball. Or dragon warriors or whatever. My ball is the same as gnomes currently have on foxes, Squirrel. They can't give the ball to anyone else once they've got it. Do not take assassins, Haruka. Under current rules, don't take them at all. Ever. Whoa. It's exciting. If you can hear my answer, Haruka, and you're not in ads, Penn is replying to himself, not you. And yes, witches are great. Oh, that's a full pow. Oh, my days. That's another one. And that's another one. 3 full pows. None, no stuns. No stuns. Super important, no stuns. interestingly, didn't do the dodge, was doing a rush with a zombie. I mean, you feel like you should have done the dodge with the ghoul to come over here, right? Oh my days. He did a 1 dice? Did he think that was a 2 dice? I'm so confused why you do a 1 dice there. Was that a mistake? That feels like it must have been a mistake. You know, dodge here. And then the wrestler can go in there. The ball carrier can block the mummy off. And this one can block the tackle off. And then you just stand there. No, why would you... He hasn't got any rerolls, Squirrel. The dodge is 1 in 9. What? This wrestler here. No, this wrestler wasn't there. It blitzed. Oh, hang on. This was stunned. Haha. This one's stunned. Okay. Errata. All right. That is an errata. Now we do have a new problem. Now things are 3 pluses, right? I mean, not really, but also the risk of... Yeah, without... I didn't realize this one was stunned. So we are down to 2 pluses then. We are. There's just nothing you can do. Right, with tackle here. This one was on the ground. Wait. Wait. The play is a blitz with this. The play is a blitz with this. You blitz with this to push to there, and then you stand there, and then you block forward and push the tackle off. That's the play. Yeah, but I mean, if you pow, which then you can just move up, take this block, move the wrestle in, and block off the tackle as well. You can still block... Everything's still 1 in 9s. There's no 2 pluses. Also, just to be clear, he snaked. So it wouldn't have mattered, but you can't learn from the dice, right? You can learn from trying to find the best play. And I think that's the best play. You're 1 in 9 because it's not a 2+. Because this was a 1 in 9 block that he did anyway, right? So we're already 1 in 9 in. So this is the 1 in 9. And you stand there. And then this block forward is 2 dice with wrestle. And on any push, you get tackle off the ball, which allows you to dodge and dodge and dodge. So just all 1 in 9s. And like I said, this was a snake. It's not how, we're not certain how it works, but if you just look at the dice in order there, there was a snake coming up. It does end up with a better failure state, though. Oh, Jesus. To me, it does end up with a better failure state, though, because the wrestler being there is just better in general, right? The guard being there is just better in general. There's the POW. All about where it goes now. Oh no, that's bad. That'd be bad. Wait, I guess you had to, did you? Did you have to re-roll that? You have got a 4+ jump and a 3+ pickup. With the re-roll in hand. This re-roll gives you a 1 in, I guess maybe, but no re-roll for the pickup. I don't know which is better. Can't be asked to Samba it, but if someone does Samba it. There it is. A naked 3 to put K-Fool in peril. Le Marseillais, somewhere in France, in the middle of a game, because they played at the same time, rubbing his hands in glee. And we will see you in that game next. And congratulations to Justicium. And we will see whether it's congrats or commiserations to K-Fool. See you next time.